I'm supposed to speak about the future relations with Germany, and that I want to say some words about the present situation. For us, Germany is a kind of a state that we have three dimensions of relations with. First is German as part of Europe, as one of the leading countries in Europe, and the relations of Israel with Europe are very important. For a third of our trade is with Europe. And we try to walk through Germany to change the atmosphere in the European Union. In some of the occasions we succeed, in some occasions we don't. In some occasions we hear from bureaucrats in Brussels, not today, today they cannot speak, there is, they don't walk. But on regular days they say that Brussels is only an excuse for countries like Germany and others that do not want to make the same laws against Israel, so they use the European Union. So for us, Germany is first, not for in the priorities, but one dimension is member of the European Union through which we want to get better relations with the European Union. The second one is Germany is one of our partners in trade, in the academic side, science, and so on and so forth, a very important one. And we try to enhance those relations as much as possible. And for that, I think we have, in many occasions in Germany, better or open doors better than many other European countries. And third is Germany as an ally relating to our security needs. Mainly, I don't know how it came to the world, but mainly in the maritime areas. The last project is we are buying in Germany 4 ships for our secure the EEZ, the gas installations in the Mediterranean. And for us, when it is coming to our Navy, Germany is the most important ally. We don't buy in any place more than we buy for our Navy than in Germany. This is the 3 areas in which we have today relations with the Germans. I don't speak about the non-formal relations between Israelis and Germans and so on relating to writers and so on and so forth. This is another dimension that should be treated in another way. What are the factors which might change, enhancing or making the relations more complicated in the future? I found 4 elements. One is the decision-making, people and process in Germany. It's a change in generation. The generations who still remember the Holocaust is disappearing. Germany is becoming, as most of European countries, more open, more liberal, less understanding to the needs of countries like Israel in the Middle East. Might it be changed with the changes in Europe today, in the European Peninsula today? I don't know, but no question, the whole issue of those who are making decisions and the decision process in Germany is one of the elements that might change the relations between Israel and Germany. As we have to be very sensitive to those changes, how the next generation will look like, who are the people that will make the decisions, what are their values, and at the end of the day, what is their attitude towards the Jewish state. The second element is the inter-European relation, which will, in a way, influence the attitude of Germany towards many questions. One of the changes might come because of the change in the immigration level to the European countries. And if today the average Muslim population of Europe is around 5%, we might find ourselves within a few years that it will be 10 or even 15%. Huge numbers of Muslims all over Europe from many countries, from Bangladesh to Morocco. And there are many, it will change many issues within the European Union and within the European countries. How to accept or not to accept those communities of immigrations. How to deal with their differences, views about women, politics in the world, open society, Sharia yes, Sharia no. It's going to be a huge issue in Europe, and Germany, as part of Europe, one of the leading countries in Europe, will be influenced by what will happen within the European Union. And other issues which are not connected to the Middle East, how a decision by the Brits to leave the continent by itself and to concentrate in the island, what will happen, how it will influence the European Union. What will happen because of their changing relations with the Russians, because of what the Russians are doing and what the Europeans need. So all these changes within the European Union will influence the relations between Israel and Germany in the future. The third issue, which was not mentioned up till now, is the Palestinian issue, which for many Germans, liberal Germans, is a very important issue and might influence their attitude towards the state of Israel. Can Israel change the decision of the Palestinians not to negotiate? The answer is probably not. Can we change the attitude of the Germans toward what they call occupation and settlement and so on and so forth? Probably not. How that will influence the relations between Israel and Germany? I think it will be a huge issue in the next few years. And fourth is Israel as a source for technology. For many Europeans, the main interest of good relations between Europe and Israel is that Israel is a source of new technologies. And how Israel will continue to be a source for new technologies in the future. The Europeans work very hard to find ways to bypass the decision of the bureaucrats in Brussels relating to Horizon 2020. Because for many countries, including Germany, it was clearly understood that if they are not including Israel in Horizon 2020, Germany and other countries and institutions will lose Israel as a source for technology. And we will do the same business with China, India, I don't know whom. By the way, I think that Israel should work very hard to reduce the percentage of our trade with Europe, not by reducing the trade with Europe, by increasing the trade with the East. So the Europe will be not 30%, but 15% of the trade of Israel, and will lose the leverage on Israel. Because the only leverage the Europeans have today is their trade relations with Israel, that's all. In the United Nations, it's anyhow doesn't matter. The Arabs have, the Muslims have 57 countries and automatic majority in the United Nations. If the Europeans are with us or without us, it's important for us that they will be with us, but it will not change the situation in the United Nations. I think that the future is not going to be easy, because in the first 3 areas, it is going to be more complicated. The new generation in Germany will not be so sensitive to the needs of Israel as the previous one, or the present one. Europe as a system will not be friendly to Israel in the next future because of many reasons. One of them is the big Muslim communities. If the Europeans admit it or not, it doesn't matter. It will be a huge change in Europe. And third is the relations with the Palestinians are not going to be easy in the next future because of clear decision of the present leadership of the Palestinians not to negotiate with Israel, to try to corner Israel in the international community. This is why I think that Israel should emphasize more in the future its technological QME to be much better in any area of technology, because this is the most important interest which lead European countries to better relations with Israel. And second, to reduce the percentage of trade between Israel and Europe to such level that the Europeans will lose the leverage on Israel. And there is one area in which we can cooperate with Germany more than we do today. There is a huge need for Israel knowledge relating to agriculture, water, health, education, in many countries around the world, mainly in Africa, South America, and some countries in Asia. Joint ventures between Germany and Israel in those countries will be for the benefit of both. Those countries which will get better projects and will have better life in the future. The atmosphere around Israel will be better because this is something that all the Germans, including the liberals who do not like Israel-Palestinians relations, will find it very attractive. And it is very important for Israel to enhance the relations with those countries in Africa, Asia, and South America. I think there is a huge potential here. The Germans are more than ready to take part in such joint ventures, and we have to do it in the future. Thank you.